What's going on, everybody? This is Jackass with ApexHead.com, bringing you an Escape Zero commentary episode. Today we have a subscriber request for the 2011 Mercedes-Benz SLS AMG, and we will be racing on the full circuit of the Nurburgring Nordschliefe, which is always a little bit hectic to say the least. So before we get started, let's take a quick look at our difficulty settings. We're racing with no assists with opponent difficulty of hard. And we are qualified in P5. You can see that this is a multi-class race event, meaning there are two different classes on the track. And I'm at the back of the S class, and there's some A class cars behind us. So this will basically just be a race between the S class cars here at the front. So here we are to start, already up into second gear, and you can see it's a little squirrely. And contact now with the P5 car. And gives me a little bit of a bump, and I'm able to ride the very edge of the circuit to get around those slower cars and up into P4 here. So already contact made within what, 3 or 4 seconds of the race start. Now breezing by the P2 and P3 cars and already up into P2. And this car is, you want to make sure that you've got your speed down before you start braking. It's a little unstable under braking. You can see that I'm really struggling just to bring the speed down. And of course, that's not helped by the fact that I'm not ultra familiar with this car. I've driven it a couple of times. But for right now, I want to at least maintain my pace in P2. We've got a long ways to go here. This is probably about a 9-minute race. So I certainly don't have to be anxious. You can see I have to drop it into first gear to get around there. And again, a little bit squirrely if I give it too much gas to start. So still trying to learn the gearboxes a bit. And going to be kind of learning on the fly. You can see I'm jerking the wheel around just a little bit to keep it on course. But right now, so far so good. And now chasing down the P1 car, and you can see that I take my line pretty bad there. The AI is really slow through here. Let's see if we can't make a move and get ahead. And a little contact there. And he slowed down dramatically there. Sometimes you can swing around on the outside of the AI right there. See if we can find some a window here. No, we cannot. And more contact with the P1 car. So kind of an ugly start here, but so far no damage indicator, meaning there should be no loss in performance. So I'm going to go ahead and ride up alongside him, and got a couple wheels in the grass, but able to glide around up into P1. So that's a good sign. Now the only unfortunate news is that it's got a long ways to go. As you can see, I go a little wide there, come up onto the runoff curb there. And heading into a very long stretch here, sort of a straighter part of the track, so we'll see what kind of speed we have over the AI. This is a very fast car, so speed in the straightaways is not generally the problem. Very easy to go wide here. You can see that I drop my speed down and get a little conservative, take a little too much of an inside line there. And now struggling to brake. You can see I started to fishtail a bit, drop it into second gear and see if I can maintain an inside line there. And certainly not that pretty, but effective, able to stay ahead of the AI. And now heading into a longer straight. And you can see that I'm still trying to figure out my throttle settings, trying to understand when to let off and when to gas it. Very easy to go wide up here, and I do go too fast and into the grass, but able to avoid contact with a wall. And now heading around these little S sweeps here. Usually you can take them in third gear and typically drop it into second at the end. The apex falls away very quickly at the end of that sequence there. So able to stay ahead of the AI for now. The AI will take advantage of you when you're racing on hard. They'll take advantage of you big time if you're too grievous with your corners, and it typically will cost you a victory, and I just do not want to make any mistakes given the length of this race. AI through that last corner is usually pretty slow, but don't have to worry about that right now. And this corner is also very deceiving, dropping into second gear and able to maintain my line up over the curb a bit. And now heading around a hard right-handed corner and into second gear, have to give it a little bit of gas coming out, and again not very pretty, but able to maintain my speed, so I'm not going to complain. Now coming into the track where for whatever reason I'm usually at my slowest. You can see I hit the curb just a little bit there and a little wide there. My left-handed back wheel kissing the white line there for sure. But this little pinch up here is really deceiving. I don't know how many times I've gone too fast through there and made contact with the wall, dropping into first gear to try and get around, and you can see it really ugly through here, and the AI has caught up with me. You can see that he is now breathing down my neck, and I'm able to save the car and get leveled out, but very close there. But still the errors there is costing me big time, and now the AI having a look on the inside and gonna have to try and maintain up around this corner. And now you can see him swing up around. You can see the nose of him peeking around on the left-hand side, and I'm just barely able to get ahead of him, and you can see he falls back now. But it's apparent that, again, I'm not going to be able to afford any mistakes if I want to maintain this lead, let alone win this thing. So now coming up to this hard right-handed corner, going to go ahead and drop it down into second gear and actually take that a little too conservatively. I could have had more speed if I would have stayed outside a little bit longer there. And you can see that the AI almost took advantage and passed me on the outside, but I'm able to stay ahead. Now heading up into this wooded area where you don't typically have to brake too much as long as you know where the track is. It's more an issue of throttle management and kind of knowing when to let off. And you can see I dropped down for just a second there, and that's going to cost me. Now the P2 car making a move on the outside, and he's able to overtake me. Let's see if I can get back ahead on the inside here, but it is going to be bending to the right, and that window is closed, so I'm going to have to yield and fall back into P2. And we are just over the 5-minute mark, so that means that we've still got some time to go. Going to be more important that I maintain P2 and be smart about this as opposed to making some kind of boneheaded move that's going to cost both of us, and probably give the P3, 4 and respective cars an opportunity to pass both of us. So I'm going to go ahead and play it cool if I can, and now see if I can make a move on the outside here. I was not very aggressive, might have been able to take an advantage if I would have given it more gas through there, but again, just trying to be conservative for now until I can find an appropriate place to overtake him. And you can see I start to go very, very wide of the hairpin, and able to correct reasonably well to get back up on his gearbox, but that was extremely ugly, and still haven't mastered that hairpin after, I mean, I've been racing Forza 2, 3, 4, and I've still never mastered that hairpin as well as I should. But of course, no time to worry about that now. Got to keep the P1 car in our sight. Still got a few minutes to go here, and you can see I start to get a little squirrely coming up around this corner here, and not wanting to get desperate. And you can see that I go a little wide coming up around this corner, and losing my focus just a little bit, starting to pay attention to the time. It seems like a lot of time, but as you can see, the AI is pretty quick through most of these corners, and there's probably only going to be a couple of spots for me to get around him. And you can see that I start to fishtail and lose it there, and that cost me a great deal. Probably lost half a second just now from doing that, and now starting to feel a little bit of pressure building up. Now heading up into these square turns, let's see if I can close the gap. You can see I am able to gain some ground, so that's good. See if we can have a look on the outside, and you can see that I took that too wide. That particular corner is throws me off quite a bit. I've skipped off into the grass I don't know how many times. Able to push around here and get a little bit closer to the P1 car. And you can see we've got a left-handed corner up here, and then it's going to straighten out just a little bit, and close contact there. Able to avoid the back of him. Unfortunately, I should have gone on the outside there. Might have had an opportunity to overtake him. And now on the straightaway, let's see if we can make some hay, and we cannot. He closes the window, and bumper-to-bumper contact. That gap was very small, and airborne here. Start to lose it, and somehow able to stay on the track. And now you can see I ride up over the curb and have to get aggressive now. And almost more contact, go on the outside, able to ride along the grass for just a moment, and now barely make contact. And this is just about as much of a duel as you can ever expect to see here on the Nordschliefe, heading into the longer straights. And you can see there are some slight bends here. Have to make sure I have the nose pointed in the right direction as I come around those. They're very hard to see and sometimes difficult to judge. And we are heading into the last few corners, guys. Got to get this thing done. So now coming up around this strange squarish or rectangular set of corners here, and after this left-handed corner up here, it's basically going to be a long sweeping right hook down into the long straight. So we're going to have to make a move now, and going to have to get up alongside the P1 car, and you can see I'm able to do that as the track narrows here. But going to go ahead and hold my ground, see if I can keep it off the grass, and yes, barely able to do so, and he does fall back, and not a moment too soon. So now just have to stay ahead on these corners, and you can see the P2 car is pushing hard on the inside and now backs off. If I had gone wide there, that would have been a complete disaster, and we are now in the long straight. And don't forget that the P2 car did catch me coming up through the wooded area there, but that was of course because I had taken some corners a little too slow, and that should not be a problem here as we get up around 185 to finish the race, 186 in fact. And there you have it, the SLS AMG from Mercedes. Gonna go ahead and leave you guys with some race highlights. Hope you've enjoyed watching this video. Feel free to check out my channel for a number of other Forza 4 gameplay videos, including pushing close to 15 or so with commentary, which you can find under my playlists. And actually, I was just looking at my playlist runtimes, and I've got very close to 10 hours of gameplay footage of just Forza 4 alone, so yikes. I do have a life, I swear. Actually, quite a busy one, but I'll spare you the details of that. So thanks again for watching, everybody, and I'll hope to see you next time.